When I spirit traveled back to Egypt, and there were these guards standing there in front of Osiris's shaft. They allowed us to pass, and we started descending down the ladder. There's standing water in that third chamber. But when I was there, it was ornately decorated. It was very beautiful with all kinds of hieroglyphs and statues. There were actually carved statues down there. We went through this hallway and we went into this huge room, and it was filled with gold. I mean, it was spectacular. It was huge high ceilings, and there were statues of all the Egyptian gods. There was gold and vases and statues, all these things filling the room. And there were papyrus rolls, all kinds of rolls of papyrus that had ancient text. And they told me it was the ancient text of Atlantis, and that this was the library that's underneath the Sphinx. And then we went up a shaft, climbing up the ladder. And we ended up in the cavern that's at the base in the back of the Sphinx, underground. Everything is reflected above ground that is underground. And the reason the pyramids were built is to reflect that there is, in fact, pyramids underground. The second chamber is the 7 sarcophagi and the 7 deaths that you go through. The third chamber is the chamber of the initiates. It's down further. Then we have the fourth chamber. That's the great hall, the library. Then we have the 5th chamber, which is the first cavern under the Sphinx. The 6th is the second cavern, and the 7th is the pyramid that's underground.
Could there really be 7 levels underneath the Osiris shaft and the Sphinx?
In July 1911, archaeologist George Resner launched excavations and spoke about them to the press. He was very reputable and had been working on the Giza Plateau for years. He wanted to focus on and dig around the Sphinx. In March of the following year, 1912, he claimed to have discovered a hole in the Sphinx's head, a passage which he went through. He always communicated via the American press and used them to announce that the passages went much further away and may harbor treasure. March of the following year is when the story really takes off. In March 1913, several magazines covered Resner's discoveries, explaining that he went much deeper into the Sphinx and discovered a millennia-old city buried underground and a solar temple that was at least 6,000 years old. This temple was said to have been linked to the Temple of Solomon. It was extraordinary, and many magazines spoke of his discoveries in 1913. It's interesting that Resner spoke of an underground city beneath the Giza Plateau, of a buried solar temple, even of small pyramids.
Resner wasn't the only one to publish such work. A journalist, Paul White, published an expedition that happened in 1978 on the Giza Plateau using Sira radar. Chambers were found, and a crew with a film camera explored its depths. White explains that the film was shown in Australia to a few people and featured what looked to be complete with hydraulic underground waterways, massive chambers, and a large cathedral with enormous statues. The video, however, has since been suppressed. If this is true, that buried cities, passageways, and possibly pyramids and temples existed below the surface of the Sphinx, what was their purpose? Is it possible these discoveries are just the beginning of something even more mysterious?